communalize this sacred space is not just petty politics, but one could say it is diabolical. Many people will call it, viewers, and there's a whole brigade of Lutyens apologist channels who will say, oh, you know, this was an absurd remark and this, that, the other. But no, viewers, this is not absurd, and I will establish how over the next 1.5 minutes. Pay attention to me. Viewers, the Congress seems to see every arena, including cricket, as an opportunity to sow division in our society, in our Bharat. Sample this from Congress national spokesperson and Rahul Gandhi acolyte. You can see her standing there. She's the national spokesperson of the party, occupies a very, very salient position, public-facing salient position. But Shama Muhammad decided to view Sarfaraz Khan, the gentleman in the middle of your screens, his omission from the Indian A squad from a communal angle. Muhammad linked his omission from the squad to his surname. Yes, viewers, you remember? Name is Khan. Failed movie star trying to promote his movies, use that title. Anyhow, viewers, I don't want to go down that route. But she says he has been left out on the count of his surname, injecting a faith angle into team selection. Let me read out for your own eyes, viewers, what she has said. Is Sarfaraz Khan not selected because of his surname? Just asking. We know where Gautam Gambhir stands on that matter. What she's alluding to, viewers, is Gautam Gambhir's BJP past. And she is suggesting that Gautam Gambhir is bringing his prejudice into the dressing room, specifically religious bigotry. Viewers, the last time we heard of such bigotry was in the Pakistan dressing room, where Yusuf Yuhana had to change his name. From being a Christian, he became a Muslim, so that he could become the captain of the cricket team. Viewers, this is India. This doesn't happen here. The Shama Muhammad remark would particularly upset Muslim cricketers. Now let me take you down memory lane, viewers. The silky batting of Azharuddin, the great Nawab of Pataudi, both of them, viewers, represented India and with aplomb and were captains. Pataudi, in fact, winning us a series against all odds, changing a narrative internationally. Then there was Zahir Khan, Irfan Pathan. Is Shama Muhammad trying to say that they were picked in yesteryears, especially under the UPA and previous Congress governments, because of their faith and not their form and capability? These people, one sadly is not among us, viewers, anymore. But the other 3 or 4 and several others, viewers, including Roger Binney, this, that, the other, viewers, all of them, you're doing a disservice to. Including, let me tell you, Sarfaraz, because if he is picked tomorrow, all of you will say, well, he was picked because the board was under pressure, they had to sort of, send out a signal. There's no point even trying to answer these questions, viewers. Shama Muhammad's remarks, unfortunately, fit a larger pattern. And as it has struggled to remain in the political game with the BJP, as it has tried to stand toe to toe and take on the BJP and fail, the Congress has repeatedly fueled subcaste competition, coining slogans like Jitni Abadi Utna Hak, prioritizing vote bank arithmetic over social justice. It has backed anti-Hindu rhetoric in the South, pandered to regionalism, and attack national cohesion in the name of linguistic politics. Viewers, it's on your screens. All these hard facts. Backs anti-Hindi rhetoric by South allies pandering to linguistic populism versus national cohesion. Viewers, Congress has backed reforms in Hindu society in the name of progressivism, while defending Sharia-mandated practices like triple talaq and others, under the guise of pluralism. No, we shouldn't do all of that, because you see, we're a plural country, we must accept cultural diversity, there are different traditions, we must respect them. Even poor Shah Bano, viewers, was shown her place because the Congress wanted to appease clerics, hardliners. It has supported splitists from within the Hindu community who want to fragment the faith. In Karnataka, viewers, it backs the Lingayats who want to break away. Yet, viewers, the same party condemns any BJP focus on the impoverishment of Pasmanda or marginalized Muslims, labeling it divide and rule. It coined Jitni Abadi Utna Hak instead of uplifting poor across castes on the basis, viewers, of economic injustice. Congress fused subcaste competition to further vote bank politics, even going against the tenets of the Supreme Court's judgments on not extending caste to religion. Does the Congress party want caste, viewers, to determine now a quota on playing for India in the BCCI scheme of things? Viewers, Hindi targeted regionalism stoked, backs anti-Hindi rhetoric by allies in the South, pandering to linguistic populism at the cost of national cohesion, opposed abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, contested Modi government's decision to scrap the architecture of Muslim separatism in this country, specifically Kashmiri Muslim separatism. It terms reforms in Hindu society as progressive. I've gone over these points. Viewers, what do these hard facts reveal? Do they suggest that time and again the party demonstrates that its commitment is not to India, but to electoral exploitation of religion, caste and language? Has cricket, a sport that unites a billion Indians, become just the latest pawn in Congress's game of vote bank appeasement politics? Viewers, let's ask this question tonight because it needs to be asked. Syed Abbas is here with us. We're expecting Abdul Razak Khan any moment. I want to first set up this debate by asking Mr. Abbas a simple question. Mr. Abbas, do you buy into what the Congress party is saying tonight? Do you believe that selections are happening on the basis of religion, this, that, the other?
I'll tell you what I believe. I believe hardcore statistics, figures, and the consistent performance of Sarfaraz Khan. Consistently, if you see, you ask Perplexity, ChatGPT, or any AI in India or the world, they will tell you what a giant of a consistent performer Sarfaraz Khan has been. Unfortunately, Ajit Agarkar or the likes of Gautam Gambhir are not able to see this. Against the England Canterbury Lions, he's got a 92. India, New Zealand, Test Series, he got 100. Not just that, consistent performance, 371 runs in the domestic cricket, and he's still not called for. The fact of the matter is, why is a young lad like Sarfaraz Khan being kept out? Will it not hit the morale of Sarfaraz Khan? This question must be raised.
Sir,
when you perform.
Sir, we are not having a general discussion. We are having a pointed discussion. Shama Muhammad has said it's because of his surname. Do you agree, yes or no? You might be very upset that Sarfaraz Khan hasn't made the cut. There are several very promising talents, and I think Mr. Gupta here can elucidate on that point, using as many statistics as you are shooting at us, and as many high-scoring Ranji maestros who haven't made it into the team. I can tell you that also. But I'm asking you a very specific question, Mr. Abbas. Do you believe his religion, his surname has something to do with it, that Gautam Gambhir, because of his BJP background, is using that against Sarfaraz? It's a very direct, simple question. And if you don't agree with Shama Muhammad, call her out on this show and ask the Congress party to take a stand, apologize on her behalf, or correct her, or ask her to come out and immediately set the record straight.
I will tell you what I believe. I believe in the consistent performance of Sarfaraz Khan and several other fantastic domestic cricket players. This man certainly deserves a spot in the Indian
How many Dream 11s have you won?
Who cares about Dream 11?
I'll tell you why, viewers. Because Dream 11, no, hang on.
Here.
I'm not a fan. I've never played it. I've never gone on it. I don't recommend it for anybody. But there are people who are armchair selectors, viewers, in this country. And they think they know better than everybody else. And they get on to something called Dream 11. I think hopefully it's now banned, Mr. Gupta and Iyer. I just hope that's happened. But they go on, they pick their Dream 11, and then, viewers, they see how they perform. And on the basis of that great performance, if they get close to those numbers that are predicted, because they win big awards. So I'm asking you, Mr. Abbas, you are constantly talking about the fact that he has been unlucky
No, I never
to
said
be
he's been
picked.
unlucky.
So then tell me, what are you
Absolutely
saying? Take
not.
a stand.
I am absolutely taking a stand here. This man definitely deserves a
Sir,
team in
there are
the
many
Indian
people who
cricket A
deserve
side,
it. I'm
sir.
asking you,
Statistic, performance.
has
Okay, Rahul
his
Shivshankar,
religion
you
come
tell
in the
me
way?
if a player is consistently performing,
Has the
averaging,
religion come in the way?
statistics
Is
are
there a
in
communal
his
angle?
number.
Yes or no?
Why? I definitely question why is Sarfaraz Khan not selected today in the India A
Okay, so
cricket
viewers,
side?
now let me put a
Or Rishabh Pant is captain the
in
team.
the
The question
recalcitrant
will be
mouth
there.
of Mr.
Not just
Abbas
me.
and say very
RSS, you
clearly
should
that
also
he
ask this
is, no,
question.
he's also agreeing with Shama Muhammad. Let me put it straight out. He's not
No,
denying
no,
it.
no, no. Don't put
So I'm
words in my
asking
mouth.
you, take a position
Don't put
tonight
words in my mouth.
as a member,
I am
responsible
taking an
member of,
absolute.
one second, as a responsible member of a very important community in this country. In fact, the single largest majority after Hindus. I'm asking you a question. Do you agree with Shama Muhammad, yes or no?
I will tell you with what I agree of Shama Muhammad. Shama Muhammad believes that his domestic cricket record, absolutely fantastic, giant of a record, certainly deserves a spot in the India cricket
Why
A
isn't
side.
Sarfaraz
And Ajit
selected even
Agarkar,
for India
Gautam
A
Gambhir
squad?
must and
One
should
second, let's
answer
go back to
why
her
he is not
quote.
given a
Viewers,
spot
I
in
want
the
us to
India cricket A
focus on
side.
these words. This slippery customer, Mr. Abbas here, knows that she has been extremely irresponsible. And he doesn't want to take a stand because, viewers, I'll tell you why. By insinuation, they want to character assassinate and they want to divide this Indian team, they want to divide our sport, and they want to create in the mind of all people who are avid sports followers, viewers, specifically cricket aficionados, that there is communalism now in our dressing room like it is in Pakistan. Viewers, let me show you what she said, and let's pull that out and put it on air. She said, viewers, is Sarfaraz Khan not selected because of his surname? She didn't talk about his spotless record, about the giant of a cricketer that he is. And Abbas is deliberately, viewers, tiptoeing around this.
No,
And so will, I'll tell
absolutely
you,
not.
so will the other
Mr.
gentleman
RSS,
who has joined
who got
us.
100 in the Buchi
One
Babu
second.
International
Razak
Tournament?
Khan will also tiptoe, or maybe he'll take a definitive stand. But 1 minute, let me first bring in Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta, tell me, do you agree with Mr. Abbas on the fact that he's very good, he should have been picked, he should have had a look in, and there might be an exception that could be made for him, or are there other candidates like this who are equally worthy but have been kept on the sidelines for whatever reasons?
Good evening, Rahul. You look, talent and high scoring performance in domestic cricket is almost a cliche. A lot of performers emerge in the domestic circuit. A lot of them do not make into the final playing 11, especially in red ball cricket. But since Mr. Abbas is an expert on chat GPT and perplexity, I wonder if he Googled the names of the top Ranji scorers in the 24-25 season. Sarfaraz Khan doesn't feature there. I wonder if he Googled his approach against the short ball or the new delivery, he would have got his answers. But this is not about cricket, Rahul.
Who
Let's be
got
very
100 in
clear.
the Buchi Babu
By giving
International
a
Tournament?
cricketing
Who got
award
100?
to
Who got
Dr. Shama
371
One
runs in
Muhammad,
the
second, you had
he
your
domestic
time.
cricket?
Let him
legitimizing
finish. He never
his
This is
interrupted you. 1
argument.
second. I just want to set the record straight
This
here.
is
No one is going to
absolutely
cross-talk.
whitewashing Sarfaraz Khan
I will not
as
allow
an
you to
average
cross-talk, Mr. Abbas. I'll lower your fader. Then don't complain. I gave you 5 attempts to come out and explain yourself. You have, for the
player. And I
purposes
did.
of this debate,
Not
explained
according
yourself.
to.
Now keep
I
quiet.
will not say what
Now
you want
keep
me
quiet.
to say.
When you've
I
explained
will say
yourself,
what
keep
I
quiet.
believe.
Let somebody else have a moment. Yes, Mr.
No,
Gupta.
again, I don't get where Mr. Abbas is coming from this. Oh, he got a century. Oh, he got a century. Yash Rathod got almost 1,000 runs in the last year's Ranji season. They don't even know his name. But again, Rahul, I do not want to give Dr. Shama Muhammad or her supporters the legitimized cricket argument because that would legitimize her foolish argument. Sarfaraz Khan or his religion does not have anything to do with the selection in the team 11. But this is not about cricket. This is about politics. Bihar elections are coming coming up, what does Congress bring to the table in any regional alliance? Absolutely nothing. Instead, they are a liability. And that is why it becomes important for them to come across as a party that can secure the minority vote. This is also not about the interests of minorities, Rahul, only about securing the minority vote. And everyone in the party, from Rahul Gandhi to some petty spokesperson, wants to become the stakeholder that, oh, I will represent the minority vote. That is not how cricket works or politics works. And Shama Mohammed is failing on both the fronts. Earlier in the year, she said Rohit Sharma is an unfit cricketer. He only led India to a Champions Trophy victory. These people do not know anything about cricket, and that also reflects in their politics.
And she had
So
to delete
tomorrow,
that.
the same people will say that let's have reservations in cricket, in our cricketing team, because South Africa does that in the name of diversity. Look what happened to South African cricket. We cannot allow that in India. Today it's religion, tomorrow it would be caste. Oh, let's have an SC captain. Let's have an ST vice captain. Let's have a tribal wicketkeeper. Is that where we want our cricket to go? And just because cricket cuts across political dimensions, religious dimensions, it transcends all socioeconomic boundaries in this country. Congress wants to politicize that just to score some political brownie points ahead of the Bihar elections.
Viewers,
Totally shameful.
there are two gentlemen, Khalil Ahmed and Mohammad Siraj, that are in this particular team. If religion was a factor, even these two individuals would not be. So you can well imagine the mischief that is being played here, Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Mischief.
There's no mischief, Rahul. No.
I'll come to you. Don't worry. You'll get your turn. Yes. Go ahead.
See, this is how propaganda works. This is what Goebbels, always used to advocate. Don't actually make a point. Notice she adds the hashtag just saying or just asking, something like that.
Just
That's
saying.
a very important part. You see, so it can always turn as a defense where she can turn around and say, well, I never said it. I just asked the question. Right? And then it's left to people like our friend Syed Asad Abbas here to then start making the points for it. Then it catches onto it goes viral all by itself. The rumor through repetition becomes the truth. And then it becomes an established fact. And then the New York Times and Washington Post will write a piece saying, are Muslims being excluded from Indian cricket on basis of their religion? Then the Wikipedia crowd will come, reference that piece and say, NYT and WAPO say it is there is credible evidence of discrimination against Muslim cricketers, and what started off as a rumor ultimately becomes the fact, right? Based entirely on the cycle that these people create. This has been explained time and again, time and again, time and again. This is their modus operandi. And the very fact that they will... Now, let us first take how a point is made. You have to prove there is religious bias. How do you prove there is religious bias? Either Gautam Gambhir or Ajit Agarkar need to have said something in public that was Islamophobic or something like that. Have they said anything? No. Second, you have to prove, are Muslims been excluded from any of the teams? Like you yourself said, there are 2 Muslims there, so no. But see, this is the point. They take any methodology out of it and they create a little propaganda loop. What we are seeing is, the absolute heirs of Goebbels. Goebbels would be laughing. We should not forget the former president of the Congress Party, her father actually fought with Hitler's army on the Soviet front. So, this is natural. This
So
is
let me ask.
the genetic material coming out to roost.
Abdul Razak Khan, I know you probably have played a lot of cricket in your life. So I'm going to ask you a very specific question. Was Mr. Azharuddin, was Mr. M.A. Khan Pataudi, was Yusuf
Umani.
Pathan, one second, Irfan Pathan, Zahir, all these people picked because they were Muslims under a Congress, many Congress establishments.
No, sir. It was because of their merit. Today, Rahulji, I'll tell you, there are a million boys, who are practicing at the nets, playing for different academies, who would one day dream to be a part of India's main team, who would want to play for this country. I'm talking about Muslim boys. Decisions
Muslim
like
boys.
these put them off. Muslim boys. I'm talking about, decisions like these when there is merit. When there are,
Is Muhammad Shami, are the two other individuals whose photos I'm going to put
What
out,
happened with
Muhammad
Mohammed
Siraj
Shami? Please
and
tell me.
Khalid Ahmed, Muslims or
What
not
happened
Muslims?
with Mohammed Shami?
I'm
Please tell
asking
me.
you.
How conveniently was he sidelined? What happened with Sarfaraz Khan?
No, one
Please
second.
tell me.
One
He
second.
was playing for the main
No,
India
hang on,
cricket
hang on.
team.
No, one second,
Hold
one
on,
second,
Sir,
one
hold
second.
on,
Let me
hold on.
ask you.
conveniently he was pushed to India A team.
Okay, one second. Sarfaraz Khan, for
He
whatever
lost
reasons,
17
one
kilos.
second.
He is
Sir,
fit
one second,
compared to
one second,
Patita,
sir, one second.
Padikkal, Sudarshan. He has. Yes, please.
No, there are hundreds of young people who think they are deserving. There will be many fans who think they are deserving, but they don't get a spot. They sometimes are used a couple of series and benched. So are you saying that when it happens, for example, hang on. Let me tell you about an Indian captain, legendary Indian captain, who redefined the way we play the game in the modern age. No, I'll ask you. You see, this is where you jumped the gun, Mr. Khan. I'm talking about Saurav Ganguly. He played.
He is a legendary captain.
One second, and then he was dropped.
Undoubtedly.
Was it not true? Was he not dropped? Was he dropped because he was a Hindu under Congress?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
But here, Rahulji, here.
No, I'm asking you,
in
sir.
this situation,
Was he
I have a
dropped? Was
comparison
he
chart.
dropped in the
I
initial
have a
part of his
comparison
career?
chart
Turns
of
into
the-
one of India's brilliant
Sir, give us
left-hand
the reason.
opening batsmen.
Give us the
One
reason
second,
for dropping him.
One of the most successful captains went on to lead the BCCI in a sense. Viewers, I'm asking you, at the start of his career, he was dropped. So, did the Congress drop him because he was a Muslim? Yes, no.
Sir, I have a simple question.
I'm asking you the simplest question, Raza Khan. No complication here. Was Saurav Ganguly dropped? Yes or no?
India's cricket team to India A team.
Okay.
Conveniently.
So
And
viewers,
he's
now we
put
must
aside.
have even the A team
as
becoming a
well.
dumping ground
Previous-
for all sorts of
Please, you look
flotsam
at
and
his
jetsam
performance
just
against
because
England.
they
It is
happen to be
unmatchable.
Muslims
You need to come
or
in here.
Christians
Just to
or
manage.
Sikhs.
Mr. RSS,
Okay.
I need to come in
One
here.
minute, but I want you to be very clear that Mr. Abbas has not had the courage of conviction to stand up for Shama Muhammad, got away, shoot and scoot, insinuation. At least we must congratulate Raza Khan for being a very predictable viewers, agent provocateur, communalist
Mr.
on our
RSS.
show. But let me
I'm
just
not
bring in
going to
Mr.
answer
Gupta.
you.
He wants to make a
Please
point.
don't
Yes.
brand
No,
me like
Mr.
that.
RSS,
You know,
I raised my
this
hand
fake
first.
sort of an agenda
Don't
is
be
being
Mr.
peddled about
RSS.
players being
Spirit will be
sidelined very
destroyed and
conveniently.
Okay, now look at the
And
way
I
they're
want
going to
to give you
shout
a few
over each other,
examples,
sir.
Rahul.
Sir, 1 minute.
Whose spirit will be destroyed
One
and
second.
damaged. Don't brand me like that.
One second.
I'm worried about my boys.
1 second.
Oh,
We are
my
all
boys.
worried about
There's
our
no
boys,
such thing
sir.
as my boys in
Our
cricket. It's
boys,
Indian
my
boys and
boys,
girls.
my community boys, my caste
Look at
boys.
what's happening today. Look at what has happened today.
Wow, viewers, wow. Okay.
Now, we
Yes,
cannot
one
talk
second,
about
one
the
second,
Supreme
one
Court
second,
asking
sir.
for a
Don't,
quota in cricket
Mr. Khan,
selection.
could you stop
We
speaking
cannot
over
for
other people? Let
reservation
me
in
just bring
cricket.
in Mr. Gupta. He's waited his turn. Please.
Please, sir.
Yes.
Rahul, I'll tell you, he made this argument about Sarfaraz Khan being sidelined or cricketers being sidelined from a certain community. Rohit Sharma, everyone knows today who he is. He was a part of the winning squad of the 2007 T20 World Cup. He wasn't picked in the 2011 World Cup. Yuvraj Singh was the player of the tournament for the 2011 World Cup. He wasn't even in contention for the 2015 World Cup. Karun Nair scored a triple century, a test triple century against England, something even Virat and Sachin haven't done. He wasn't picked for the next 8 years. 8 years. You know, cricket works very differently than these people sitting in their drawing rooms think. It's not about community. It's never about community. It's never about caste. It's never about religion. It's all about team balance, performance, and conditions. One player who might be suited in the Indian conditions might not work in Australia or in South Africa or in England. The conditions are very different. But these people who want to exploit the religious fault lines, the caste fault lines, and want to politicize every institution in this country, they are looking for all sorts of excuses. And Abhijit rightly pointed out, this is just shallow propaganda and needs to be called out there and then. Even the Congress party would not endorse such foolish statement from Dr. Shama Mohammed. And here we have Mr. Abbas, who's very neatly sort of defending what she said. Again, it's not about religion. Mohammad Siraj, I'll give you one final example. Mohammad Siraj is a fine bowler. He will be a brilliant bowler in the Australian conditions, in the English conditions. But on a given day, he might actually not make it to the cut in the final 11 in an Indian setup. Because here you need slower bowlers, you need spinners. That's how the team balance works.
Mr. Gupta, let me tell you, there were many people
Now can I come
when
in?
we played in Australia, just a few months ago, there were many people who found Siraj's bowling not penetrative enough. It wasn't, viewers. It was Mr. Bumrah who carried the entire team. Took a record number of wickets till his shoulder fell off.
One man's day. Cricket is like that.
So
It's
that's
not
what
that
I'm
every
saying.
bowler, every
So when
batsman
you're not in
performs
form, you're not going to be picked. It's nothing to do with your religion.
Sir,
You guys
I'll
have
tell you this
become,
one thing.
you know,
Give me a comparison.
professional victimhood
Sir,
brigade
I have
in
a
this
comparison
country.
chart with me. I can compare
Professional victimhood.
performance.
Viewers,
There is not
professional
evidence.
victimhood.
Mr. RSS,
हमारे को
Some
टिकट
countries
नहीं
are
दिया,
able to somehow
हमारे को
like
ये नहीं
that.
दिया,
Please
हमारे को
influence
वो
our
नहीं
time.
दिया. When it came to Kashmir, viewers, they uttered 3 slogans and they kicked out a whole community from there. Till date, no one has been able to go back.
Mr. RSS, for once,
I want to
can
move on,
please-
viewers, because we've heard Mr. Abbas. I'll ask him another simple question, and please take a stand, Mr. Abbas. If it is a questionable selection decision, we can have a debate on that, and you might even have a point. But if this is questionable on account of its faith, of Mr. Khan's faith, I want you to tell me whether that is the argument that you're willing to make one last time. Yes or no? Has he been kept out because of his surname Khan?
Give me 30 seconds like you provide to my friend Abhijit.
Yeah, you can
and
take
Tushar.
40.
Thank you. I appreciate Rahul Sahab. The fact is, my friend Tushar Gupta here very selectively mentioned a few details of Ranji Trophy about runs. Respected sir, take out a record of 2000 average innings in the domestic cricket of Ranji Trophy. Number 3 in India comes Sarfaraz Khan. First Vijay Merchant, second Sachin Tendulkar, third Sarfaraz Khan. Not just that, my dear friend, Sarfaraz Khan, if you take out the record and you read it in the detailed documents, he's only second to Sir Don Bradman in the world when it comes to scoring a triple century followed by a double century in first class cricket tournament of any country in the world.
Right.
So therefore, sir, purely on record basis, Mr. RSS, hand on my heart. And
This
I tell you,
gentleman,
Sarfaraz Khan deserves a spot in
is
India
making a
cricket
case
team.
for a secular case for Sarfaraz Khan on the basis of his performance, which I can make for viewers about 20 cricketers today.
Yes.
It just tells you that the selection has been, you can quibble about
you can't.
the wisdom of this
India
selection.
cricket ace
One
side
second,
Sarfaraz Khan
one
deserves.
second,
You
please. Now,
cannot
don't
make
speak
the-
over me. I've given you more than 30 seconds. I gave you 40 seconds. You still didn't have the gumption, viewers, to take a stand, to call out Shama Muhammad for communalizing this and the Congress for sitting absolutely mum. And I'll tell you, viewers, they're doing it because of the Bihar election.
Yes.
And that is a fundamental issue here. They want to consolidate that vote. Because they know, starting with MY, Muslim Yadav, viewers, if they can consolidate that, they start with 30%, like Mamata Banerjee does in another context in Bengal. So viewers, how must we rally the Muslim vote to our side? So let's send out somebody who will make these remarks. As Abhijit Iyer Mitra is saying, be the propagandist and then play around with this, give this person oxygen and allow for people to speculate. Viewers, this is absolutely the blueprint that is employed by those who are worthy legatees of Jinnah today in this country. Let me put very clearly to you. Jinnah mindset, viewers. Not partition ploy. Call it what it is. Put a pronoun, Jinnah mindset. I just want to begin by, viewers, just going down a little bit because we have a very interesting story and it is in some ways connected. I want us to begin with an undeniable fact. And I have a quote from my own book. Very well researched, viewers. I'm not saying this. A large number of top authors, academics, politicians from the Muslim community have come out and said so. Couldn't find a problem with the research. But viewers, the undeniable fact is that India's history has been selectively edited. British, French colonialism, Portuguese colonialism are dissected endlessly in textbooks and seminars. But an older, bloodier chapter, the centuries of Islamic conquest and cultural erasure, a form of colonialism, has been largely skipped. Today, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has questioned that silence. The Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister says political Islam remains a live threat, one that once changed India's demography by the sword and today seeks to do so by design. Viewers, I just want us to quote Yogi Adityanath. He says, our ancestors waged major struggles against political Islam, yet this aspect of history remains largely overlooked. There is talk of British colonialism, there is talk of French colonialism, but nowhere is there talk of political Islam which undermined the Sanatani faith in this country, unquote. And by evidence, viewers, you can see some of the monuments, you can see the impression that Islam has left on this country. It's very visible. The remark will make many uncomfortable, including some of you. But more importantly, it poses questions, important ones. Did a powerful ecosystem sanitize Islamic imperialism to preserve a carefully curated narrative of composite culture end up emboldening Islamic supremacism, viewers? Fundamental question. Let's ask that question tonight. Let's open this up. I want to first begin with Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, a lot of people have talked about it now, especially when scholarship has become more democratized. And there are people who will call themselves the actual embodiment of fact-driven historic study. And they have said very clearly, and I've got some examples, that there has been a selective purge. Would you agree?
100%. Look, a historian fundamentally is not a specialist. They're propagandists. There is no historian who's a specialist. You ask Romila Thapar, for example, to read an archaeological report. She won't know the beginning of it and the end of it. And this has been tried. Somebody actually gave it to her. She couldn't do it. She's not an archaeologist. She's not a numismatist. What is she? So this has been a very consistent pattern where generalist narrative builders claim that they've done some highly specialized research and pass off what is a general arts degree like, home economics and things like that. Pant fat gaya to kaise silai karna hai, kind of degrees, and then claim they are great experts at it. Number one. So all this, facade of great methodology and academic rigor in history is total BS. The only real people who are proper historians are archaeologists, numismatists, geneticists, etc., etc., etc. Let us set that aside. Second, since the beginning of, say the middle of the last century, in the 1950s, political Islam has been an extremely potent force that emerged with Hassan al-Banna and Sayyid Qutb in Egypt, developed under Sayyid Qutb, but started by Hassan al-Banna, and it has become an absolute terror for the rest of the world. Remember, Pakistan was created through political Islam. How can you tolerate political Islam in a country that has already been partitioned by political Islam? What is political Islam? It's simply the application of the Muslim mind to the political space out here. Okay, now, these are the same people who will claim it is very left-wing for Islam to be applied to politics, but it is not okay and it is totally right-wing for Hinduism to be applied to politics. Political Islam, very, very good. But Hindutva, very, very bad. Fascism, Nazism, everything under the sun you can find. What is fascism? Will they be able to define it? Not one. Even the Italian social scientists have not, even Antonio Gramsci was not able to define fascism properly. If you take his definition, his very amorphous definition of fascism, every communist party around the globe would fall under that this thing. When the Sino-Soviet split happened, Mao Zedong went around calling Khrushchev a fascist. So, these are all these very, this is the kind of thingamajiggery. There is actually more substance in astrology than there is in so-called mainstream academic historianship.
Okay. Let me bring in the Samajwadi spokesperson, Dr. Pooja Mishra. What part of Mr. Yogi Adityanath's statement is not a fact?
When our Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the history of Hindu leaders has not been discussed, I think the government or the BJP need to stop rewriting the history. If the glory of Hindu leaders has not been discussed, then how come we know the great Ashoka? How come we know the Chhatrapati Shivaji? And when you are politicizing a religion, just before me, the person who was speaking, he said that Islam politics is okay, but Hindu politics is not okay. I would say either of the politics is not okay. The constitutional politics is best, and you can't go for the extremism, which is the government is doing. They are going for the extreme of the Hindutva. They are criticizing the Islam. Rather, the government itself is indulged into creating wedge between the Islam and the Hindu. They are not talking about the constitutional right. They are not talking about what is right on the ground. Rather, our chief minister is indulged into just rewriting history in their own way, telling the
Doctor, can you
history in
point
their own
out
way.
one book? I'm sure you're very well read, you've come researched, one book on political Islam and the danger and the threat it poses to this country. Name me the book and give me the author's name.
And I'm not a historian.
Okay.
Though
So
I
what are
have
you,
a
ma'am?
doctor in my name. Yeah, I have doctor in my name
No,
because
I understand.
I did
You're
PhD
on
in
this
chemistry.
debate.
Yeah.
You're going to be
Yeah,
waxing eloquent and informing our viewers about
Yes,
certain
I
things. So
know.
can you tell me?
I
You said
know,
that,
I
oh,
know
you know,
those-
Yogi
I know those
Adityanath
were
is...
present.
My question to you, madam, one second. I'm not shouting at anybody.
Yeah,
I'm only asking you a simple question. What part of what Yogi Adityanath has said is wrong? That we have not had enough scholarship on the effects of political Islam in this country.
Can you repeat your question again? I couldn't get it.
Yogi Adityanath says that the discourse on Islamic colonialism in this country has been ignored.
And I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Everything has been discussed
Now,
in
viewers,
his
let
story
me
and
tell
has
you.
discussed in their view.
I said, give me a name. Give me a name of an author, because Mr. Perplexity will give us some names after Googling. But I want you to give me a name. You say that it has been discussed ad nauseum. Books have been written. So tell me the name of one book. You have come to this debate.
I think NCRT itself talks about
NCRT.
the...
Viewers, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that she used this word NCRT, because in my book, Modi in India, I talk about Sarvarpalli Radhakrishnan ji's brief to the NCRT, where he says that it is important to retell history in a manner in which we do not open up wounds of the past. So it is okay, viewers, to talk about the forceful inquisitions carried out by Christians, invaders in this country, but viewers, not about Muslim invaders. And you have to ask yourself why. Well, I'll tell you why, viewers. Because Christians are about 1.5% of the general population. They don't bring enough to the table to be swing voters. Let me tell you what Dr. Ambedkar, and this is in my book once again, viewers, in his book, Pakistan or the Partition of India, he responds to arguments that champion composite culture. You know, we've heard so much about Hindu-Muslim amity, Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb. These are words that are used and thrown about. So let me quote him. He says, composite culture, the prevalence of Hindu customs in Muslim practices, the idea that Muslim peers had Hindu disciples, that Hindu yogi had Muslim chelas, or that saints or prominent religious figures from both communities sometimes shared the closest of bonds. While acknowledging that both Hindus and Muslims are the same race, Ambedkar wondered if this facet alone was enough for scholars to conclude that the two communities long to belong to each other. These are his words, not mine. Ambedkar argued that these common features were less an outcome of any genuine attempt to adapt to or adopt another's practices than a result of incomplete conversions. In a land like India, where a majority of Muslim population has been recruited from caste and outcast Hindus, the Muslimization of the convert was neither complete nor effectual, either from fear of revolt or because the method of persuasion or insufficiency of preaching due to insufficiency of priests, Ambedkar wrote. He also claimed political and religious antagonisms divide Hindus and Muslims far more deeply than the so-called common things that are able to bind them together. Viewers, he goes on to then write, in fact, viewers, and this is very, very important, that there was nothing called Ganga Jamuna Tehzeeb. It's an affectation. Now, you can say that it was essential to do all of this post-partition because you wanted to heal the wounds, but that should not preclude academic study. So I want to bring in now the BJP national spokesperson who is joining me, Sharat Trivedi ji. Sharat Trivedi, many people are saying, why go into all these wounds of the past? Why talk about Islamic, political Islam, this, that, the other? This is a provocative debate that is being launched. How do you respond?
Rahul, when we can have a conference on complete eradication of Sanatan Dharma, it was not an impromptu thing. They had a banner behind them, and leading luminaries of the South had addressed that conference. And we talked about Hinduism as malaria, diphtheria, filaria, whooping cough, and whatnot. There was no problem. But here, when Yogi Adityanath says that let's have a healthy political discussion on political Islam, that's not kosher. You can't do that. When countries from as far away from Malaysia to from Morocco to Malaysia got converted, barring India and Israel, that was fine. The largest empire in the Middle East, that was the Persian Empire, vanished in 300 years. Everybody understood Islam. Everybody understood the tenets of Islam, the good things about Islam, and they got converted. We see the Islam, the Sufi Islam, the dervishes twirling away to glory, but we don't see the kind of effect that it had in India and rest of the world. Today, largest number of refugees are Muslims from Muslim countries. They are not being thrown out from non-Muslim countries. We have Muslims coming from Afghanistan on Indian Air Force planes. We have got Muslims coming from Pakistan to India. We have got Muslims coming from Bangladesh and Rohingyas. But the Indian Muslims are under threat. When UP STF training center police STF training center is opened in Lucknow, that is fine. There's kosher, no problem. But when it is opened in Deoband, Akhilesh ji says that साहब ये इससे देश टूट जाएगा, हमारी सद्भावना खत्म हो जाएगी, धर्म में problem आ जाएगी. We had a spokesman who just made one comment on Islam, and she's incommunicado. Nobody can even approach her. She's has the highest level of security provided to her. But here, when we are saying that let's have a healthy discussion, we are not accusing anybody.
Okay, you're just saying that let's have an academic conversation around a taboo subject which no one ever really talks about. Mr. Abbas, let me ask you, why do Indian Muslims, if there's nothing about political Islam, why do Indian Muslims go and join the global jihad in Pakistan and Syria and become members of the ISIS, especially from states like Kerala and so on and so forth, even Uttar Pradesh? Maharashtra, why?
Those who do are absolute Deshdrohis.
But why do they do it?
And that is what they are.
Why do they do it? It's all very well to grandstand. I'm asking you.
I'll tell you why they do it.
Yeah.
I think the question you should also ask yourself.
I'm asking you a question. Can you first give me an answer to that and ask you? You can ask the other question.
Allow me some time, my dear friend. Allow me. Those who join this, I do not know why they join. I think they must
you don't
be
know
of
why
a
they
very
join.
sick mind to join a terrorist organization.
Okay, I'll tell you why, viewers.
Which is absolutely
So if there are people who are so sick in the mind, why do they do it? Who is converting them to their cause? One second now, just 1 minute, Mr. Abbas. I know you're not going to make any worthy statements except for those that play to the galleries, and that's fine. But I just want to make it a very, very... No, hang on. Let me just bring in one of the experts on this panel who knows a thing or two about political Islam. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, why do they sign up for global jihad?
Allow me to make my point.
One second. What is the greater objective of global jihad? Can you please tell me? And why isn't this discussed?
First, there are two things. There is Darul Islam and there is Darul Haram. Everything that is ruled by Islam is highly pious. Everything that is not is full of demons and demon worshippers who need to be converted. If they are not converted, they need to pay jizya tax and live in dhimmitude, which is to say they can't repair their temples, they can't do anything. They are essentially second-class citizens. Now, what is this need to unite? This comes basically from the concept of a caliphate. The Islamic Ummah should be one. All the Islamic states, it transcends nationality. Therefore, religion is fundamentally about nation.
absolutely wrong. That's
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, yeah.
Can I answer now, Rahul? Can I please counter
Wait,
that?
I haven't finished yet.
Can I
I
please
haven't.
counter?
So this is the whole point. You look at ISIS, you look at the Ottoman Empire, you look at basically, and imagine something so-called moderate like the Ottoman Empire and something so-called extreme like ISIS, all want to go back to the exact same thing, which is what? Global Islamic Caliphate.
Okay.
And mind you, even the early caliphates had that exact same thing. Everything is conquest,
Can I answer
conquest,
that?
conquest.
So you're
Can I get
saying
1 minute, Rahul?
to make
Shivshankar,
it
please
very
answer.
easy and accessible, viewers, a global Muslim Rashtra. Very
Yes.
simple. But viewers,
No.
you'll only hear
And
this word.
the Muslim
Absolutely
Rashtra.
false.
Yes. So you'll only hear this Hindu Rashtra,
Absolutely
Hindu Rashtra,
false.
Hindu Rashtra, not the global project, viewers, which is very well articulated. I want to move on, viewers, because there is something that we must discuss and take it head on tonight. And this should upset each one of us as Indians. Viewers, I want us to pay a little attention to Trump's Diwali celebration at the White House. It was complete with lamps, diyas and desis. It was meant to showcase his love for India and Indian culture. There you can see it, lighting a lamp. But the lamp lighting lit up a darker reality. The fact is that Trump's administration has repeatedly painted immigrants as job stealers, especially desis, even legal economic migrants who are on H-1B visas. And this has resulted in the mainstreaming of some of the oldest racist tropes in American history. Sample these nasty comments from Trump's own MAGA supporters, his own vote base, all posted online against Indo-Americans celebrating Diwali. And they don't care whether, viewers, you are a US-born Indian origin desi. They just don't want you to, in their words, viewers. And I can't even begin to tell you what they have said. Get out of my country, go back and worship your sand devils, and so on and so forth. And this was done, viewers, in response to what Kash Patel put out. Poor Vivek Ramaswamy put out a tweet, and he was trolled in the vilest ways. MAGA supporters have mocked Indian customs, circulated xenophobic memes, and insulted leaders like Kash Patel for participating in the festivities. Replying to Kash Patel, one MAGA supporter, and you can see it on your screen, says, "Go back home and worship your sand demons, get out of my country." Replying to Vivek Ramaswamy, one MAGA supporter said, "The Apostle Paul, behind every pagan idol lurks demons. Paul says Saturn masquerades as an angel of light. Hindus say, hold our cow dung. We worship many gods," unquote. Diwali festival lights or Satan's favorite costume. And these are not, viewers, I'm not pulling out some random tweets by some Joe Blows in America. These are very famous MAGA, very big handles, influencers. Trump responds, listens to them. Another says, "Happy Diwali, no thank you. As a Christian, I stand firm. Jesus Christ is the only true light of the world." They're not wrong, viewers. In their worldview, none of this tolerance exists. This wave of hatred threatens to expose the limits of Trump's India-friendly image. Just yesterday, Trump spoke about his affection for India, Indians, and Modi. But these sentiments juxtaposed against the racist taunts of his base questions, viewers, pose a few questions of their own. Is Trump's public embrace of Indian culture skin deep? Is it just an affectation? Has Trump's and his team's gaslighting of Desis or Indians in America propagated bigotry against them? Let's open this up. I want us to straight go across to David Sofair, who's a Republican loyalist of the Trump administration. David Sofair? Okay, you're not.
Yes.
You're a Republican strategist.
Great. Andrew, thank you very much, and thank you for having me. And I'd like to first start out by saying Happy Diwali to you.
Thank you.
And to all of the viewers. And, we're wishing you guys a very healthy and prosperous time in India and internationally throughout the world. Thank you for having me, and it's great to be here. So we've got a lot to unpack on today's segment, so please, fire away.
Your response to this trolling and the question that I've posed, has Trump normalized through his rhetoric, his gaslighting of immigrants, specifically a very affluent section of immigrants, some of them very legitimate, some of them H-1B visas, saying they've come to steal your jobs, this, that, propagated a backlash?
So let's be clear here. So Trump didn't say any of those things. These are, random people and, private civilians making statements online, in every culture, in every democracy where there's freedom of speech. Unfortunately, and you should know this best because you're also in the public eye, you will have a small percentage of terrible statements and hatred. I get that as a journalist, and so do you. So this is something else. If you look at the tweets, there are many tweets saying Happy Diwali and good things. Of course, there's always going to be some outliers, and that's an unfortunate thing to happen. But that's just the way of the world, isn't it?
Okay, so this is an exception, not the norm.
It's not an exception. I mean, it's that's how it goes on Twitter or social media.
This administration is a joke. Nicholas J. Fiontes says that.
People from the administration saying that.
He's a big name, big influencer. Okay, let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Is there a reason for us to be a little worried? I'm not here pitching a tent for Indians who have gone and chosen a new country and have decided to establish themselves, but generally speaking, about the closing of the American mind, so to speak?
Not really. Look, I agree with our friend from America out here. There is no movement on earth that doesn't have a whack job fringe. Literally. This is the whack job fringe of MAGA, and it remains just that. It's a whack job fringe. These are not people, don't extrapolate follower count to influence on policy. I think we need to separate those two. I think Trump has gone out of his way to show inclusivity, and remember, except saying dead economy, has he ever said anything nasty about Hindus and things like that? Has he ever supported?
There was a comment that he made about, and I don't want to use that word, about the country being a certain, he used an epithet and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But has he kind of stuck by it, and there was a huge back and forth, as you know, and
Okay, that's okay. Well, let's get on with it.
So there is the other issue here, which is what do you do with the fringe and how do you deal with the fringe? Now, unfortunately, in every political movement, the fringe will always be taken along. The left takes it along, the right takes it along. You can't afford to alienate them. Let's be realistic about this. In an optimal world, should all these people be expelled and formally, named, shamed, and kicked out? Yes. Is it actually ever going to happen in any side of the world? No,
but Mr. Mitra, you said that you can't ignore it, you have to take it along. And let me give you an example. One of the first things that Trump did in administration A, when he was the 45th, I think, 45th president, he came out and he said, he came out and said that, look, I'm not going to allow people from a certain minority community to enter the United States. We're going to take away their citizenship rights. We're going to keep them out. I only want certain people from certain countries, the great countries of Northern Western Europe. And he even named that I want the Scandinavians, the beautiful blue-eyed blonde. He sounded like Hitler. Supreme Court had to step in.
No. Look, that was the so-called Muslim ban. He never used the word Muslim himself.
Wow.
And remember, every single country on that list had a very, very problematic history of exporting all kinds of jihadi lunatics all across the globe. Right? Sure. Remember, in India as well, we do have an ethnic basis. A white man, unless he's married to an Indian, cannot claim Indian citizenship. We have a very ethnic basis for that.
We're not talking about citizenship.
Or by property as well. You can't buy property, you can't get, so there's a lot of that happening. So, and not to mention tariffs, of course, but let's just stay on topic here,
No, hang on. You see, David Sofair, there's a small problem here. The problem is that in India, now you can argue whether that's right or wrong. We can have that debate. In India, you don't have the absolute freedom of free speech, right, like you have in America. So you can't basically call people racist names. And I'm sure now in America too, there is a degree of criminal liability that you would face if you were outwardly racist. My point is, who is ever going to get booked for all this nonsense? Especially Vivek Ramaswamy is not going to get up and suddenly develop a spine and say, no, actually, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have the cops book you for inviting race tensions, which is, by the way, now a prosecutable crime. So why is that not happening? These are some big names with big followers.
Well, I mean, you have freedom of speech. So again, it all boils down to freedom of speech. Now, again, I disagree with all the statements, obviously, and so does the administration, obviously.
I'm glad. I know. I don't know about the administration. I haven't seen a tweet by Trump to say, pack this up, guys. It's not on my watch.
He can't pack up. I mean, he can't pack up freedom of speech, and internet trolls is going to be a big thing.
Viewers, here is a disconnect.
There's always going to be a small
Fair enough. I understand. That's why I said there is an issue. It is about how you interpret freedom of speech, right? I mean, I think we'll concede that. In America, you have greater allowances, but viewers, if you are racist towards a black minority, you are going to get prosecuted under the law. Here, browns are being ill-treated. They're being trolled. Tomorrow, you've seen the crimes that are being committed against Indians. Tomorrow, this will assume a different threat. It may not be today. It might be incipient. But tomorrow, who knows, viewers? I leave it to this. There are things to ponder. I leave it to this. I'm just coming right back with an update on an important story. Don't go away.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Mobilization strategy. They are replicating ISIS's famous Al-Khansa brigade. This marks a significant shift in the terror group's tactics. It turns inwards to build an ideologically rigid and digitally enabled female jihad network. That's what we're now learning from our sources. They're under the cover of religious education. They're now trying to recruit women to carry out terror attacks, carry out terror tasks. Under the leadership of Masood Azhar's sisters is this new women jihadi wing that seems to have now been launched by the Jaish-e-Mohammed. This also comes on the back of the blow that was dealt to Jaish-e-Mohammed, its terror infrastructure during Operation Sindoor by India just a few months ago. It looks like they're now shifting strategy to try and recruit and shift its strategy to include more women, launching an online course as well to try and indoctrinate women with jihadist ideology. Akanksha, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. What more can you tell us, Akanksha?
Right, these are inputs shared by Securities Editor Mr. Manoj Gupta and Poonam. What we are learning is that they are calling this as a Jamaatul Muminat, which is a women's brigade. Of course, it is a strategic move, something that you also shared. Masood Azhar has given its leadership to the sisters and the female relatives. It also shows JEM's intent to build a family-led command structure for sustained female mobilization. It involves his sisters and Sadia and Samaira Azhar and Omar Farooq's wife, Afrira Farooq, who are now legitimizing this entire program. So this will ensure trust, loyalty and ideological purity. The 500 Pakistan rupee donation from each enrollee will double as a fundraising camouflage for terror financing. It's cleverly bypassing the FATF scrutiny through religious education fronts. The course content reportedly teaches women their duties from an Islamic jihadi perspective. It's a deliberate psychological strategy to frame terrorism as moral obligation and spiritual empowerment for women. Intelligence inputs are suggesting that JEM aims to use this female cadre for financial channels, espionage and logistical support. It is replicating models used by LTTE and Hamas female units. The operation of JEM affiliated fundraising through online classes also indicates state blindness within Pakistan, whether it's the Pakistan establishment or the deep state. This is clearly contradicting the FATF compliance. This will ensure ideological continuity and public mobilization despite leadership constraints and Masood Azhar largely inactive due to health and security pressures. The Female Front initiative will provide a new outreach phase for the JEM. The digital and familial recruitment model of Sufat al-Muminat could evolve into a transnational female jihad network emanating from Pakistan. This will have links to sympathizers across Pakistan, Afghanistan, even Kashmir.
Akanksha, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
jihad mobilization strategy. They are replicating ISIS's famous Al-Qaeda brigade. This marks a significant shift in the terror group's tactics. It turns inwards to build an ideologically rigid and digitally enabled female jihad network. That's what we're now learning from our sources. They're under the cover of religious education.
Viewers, after nearly 4 years, India has made a significant return to Afghanistan by re-establishing its full-fledged embassy in Kabul, a move that is far more than just symbolic. The appointment of Karan Yadav as Shah of Affairs is the first formal step in rebuilding India's deep-rooted influence across Afghanistan. Yadav, who has already been heading the technical mission in Kabul for the past 18 months, will now take on an expanded role.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Mobilization strategy. They are replicating ISIS's famous Al-Qaeda brigade. This marks a significant shift in the terror group's tactics. It turns inwards to build an ideologically rigid and digitally enabled female jihad network. That's what we're now learning from our sources. They're under the cover of religious education. They're now trying to recruit women to carry out terror attacks, carry out terror tasks. Under the leadership of Masood Azhar's sisters is this new women jihadi wing that seems to have now been launched by the Jaish-e-Mohammed. This also comes on the back of the blow that was dealt to Jaish-e-Mohammed, its terror infrastructure during Operation Sindoor by India just a few months ago. It looks like they're now shifting strategy to try and recruit and shift its strategy to include more women, launching an online course as well to try and indoctrinate women with jihadist ideology. Akanksha, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. What more can you tell us, Akanksha?
Right, these are inputs shared by Securities Editor Mr. Manoj Gupta and Poonam. What we are learning is that they are calling this as a Jamaatul Muminat, which is a women's brigade. Of course, it is a strategic move, something that you also shared. Masood Azhar has given its leadership to the sisters and the female relatives. It also shows JEM's intent to build a family-led command structure for sustained female mobilization. It involves his sisters and Sadia and Samaira Azhar and Omar Farooq's wife, Afrira Farooq, who are now legitimizing this entire program. So this will ensure trust, loyalty and ideological purity. The 500 Pakistan rupee donation from each enrollee will double as a fundraising camouflage for terror financing. It's cleverly bypassing the FATF scrutiny through religious education fronts. The course content reportedly teaches women their duties from an Islamic jihadi perspective. It's a deliberate psychological strategy to frame terrorism as moral obligation and spiritual empowerment for women. Intelligence inputs are suggesting that JEM aims to use this female cadre for financial channels, espionage and logistical support. It is replicating models used by LTTE and Hamas female units. The operation of JEM affiliated fundraising through online classes also indicates state blindness within Pakistan, whether it's the Pakistan establishment or the deep state. This is clearly contradicting the FATF compliance. This will ensure ideological continuity and public mobilization despite leadership constraints and Masood Azhar largely inactive due to health and scrutiny security pressures. The Female Front initiative will provide a new outreach phase for the JEM. The digital and familial recruitment model of Tufat al-Muminat could evolve into a transnational female jihad network emanating from Pakistan. This will have links to sympathizers across Pakistan, Afghanistan, even Kashmir.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Trump and Modi had a phone call on Diwali. And now the US president is repeating his old claim that Prime Minister Modi promised him that India will stop buying Russian oil. New Delhi has not commented on this. We'll bring you the full story tonight. We're also tracking gold. It's on a wild ride. After weeks of rallying, it has suffered its biggest price drop in 12 years. We will decode the trend for you. Meanwhile, the Sensex has soared 4,000 points and investors are asking, is India back in the fast lane? In North Korea, Kim Jong-un has launched a new missile just days before Trump's Asia tour. Was it a warning or a message? ChatGPT has launched a new platform called Atlas and the battle of the browsers has begun. Amazon has a new plan to replace humans with robots. Is this the future of work or the end of jobs as we know them? India has announced Veer Chakras for 6 heroes of Operation Sindoor. We will bring you their incredible stories. In Iran, a wedding video has exposed the regime's hypocrisy. No hijab for the families of top leaders. In Iceland, they've discovered their first mosquitoes ever. Climate change is rewriting the rules.